While we're talking about old summer movies that make us nostalgic as hell, let's get back to Jaws.
Yes.
Because it is the 50th anniversary. I made you stop after we finished at the movie, not just because I had to use the bathroom and you did too, but also because I had to buy a Jaws popcorn bucket.
A very expensive Jaws popcorn bucket.
We're not gonna.
Cool. It is a cool bucket.
We're not gonna talk.
I didn't hear
We're not
anything.
gonna talk about it.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was $15.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was a cool 20.
Yeah, cool $20.
Yeah.
No, it was. It's a hell of a popcorn bucket.
Yeah. But anyway, I love Jaws. Rewatching it recently, I think part of the mythology of Jaws for me is the fact that I haven't seen any of the sequels. Mm-hmm. And so I can just be like, oh, God, Jaws. It's beautiful and perfect. And then you hear all the memes about it and Kevin Smith movies and whatever. And you're like, oh, good. So I don't need to see it. Great. And so I never have. And as the result, you're just kind of like, oh, yay. Jaws, it's like almost a perfect movie.
Yeah.
The way that all the characters interact with each other. Oh, it's so good. You know, you have like modern issues. Mm-hmm. There's one female, well, I guess, no, there are a few female characters.
There's a couple.
There's a few, but like they aren't, I wouldn't call any of them leads aside from maybe Mrs. Brody.
But even her, she's not a lead.
She's there to worry about Martin Brody.
Yeah.
That's what her role is.
Give
in the
him
movie.
a back massage.
But you do get some business owners and you get a few grieving mothers and of course one corpse. So, and there's plenty of women seen, just not heard throughout the movie. Anyway, has these modern issues, right?
Yes.
Of like, but if you put it in the guise of what, this is 73, 74, something like that.
I think so. It's in that range.
God, this movie is so good and so hugely influential of everything to come on many fronts because it's a great movie.
75.
Which
makes sense. 50.
Yeah. I can't math, can I?
No, you can't.
I'm bad at math. First off, in terms of like narratively, people have seen this movie and been like, oh God, it's so good. I want to make a movie like that. Mm-hmm. You know, and then they find their own vision that, has that appeal, and then you get like a billion movies that have that same kind of feel. Whether they be shark movies or not is irrespective of that.
You sounded like a pirate there.
Yeah.
Whether they be shark movies or not.
Irrespective. But also in terms of movie studios being like, we gotta go fishing, baby. The thing that happened that I learned from Jaws is you go fishing for the big fish. That was the lesson I took away from it. And ever since Jaws, it's just every summer is just big studios going out fishing, being like, look at our lure, look at our lure, look at our lure, which is not incidentally what we're talking about today on multiple fronts. But I love Jaws. It is one of those movies that might be a perfect movie. You try and sit here and think of like, what's wrong with it? And you're like,
it's a perfect movie by accident.
Yeah.
Because what I noticed yesterday.
Absolutely.
The scenes with the shark where you see the shark have not aged well.
I think that they're fine, but I agree you do have to watch them in the context of the era.
But since the shark didn't work and they had to film just from different perspectives, I think that helped.
Yeah.
Because once again, special effects on the shark aren't spectacular, but the acting so fucking good.
Well, like we were talking about Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
We saw a trailer for the Black Phone 2, or as I called it, Freddy Voorhees Rises Again. It's like, what if we had Jason and Freddy and it was played by Ethan Hawke?
Yeah, let's do it. With a goat mask.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to get to goat masks later, too.
Oh, my God.
This movie is, it's a slasher movie, but all the slashing happens in broad daylight.
Yes.
And so it's shot like a slasher movie of like, here comes the monster. It's about to get you. Incidentally, we also saw the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Reboot / 9, whatever it is. I don't
know how they got Freddie Prinze out of Mouthballs.
They got Freddie Prinze.
He doesn't even act anymore.
He does some voice acting. He
just does voice acting.
He does a lot of voice acting for Star Wars, which he's very good at.
Yeah, he is very good.
I mean, he just plays like the heroic prince character, but like now he gets to play like the 40-year-old heroic prince character who's like married and has a family.
And other than his gray hair, he doesn't look like he's aged very much. Like he's good for you, Freddie Prinze Jr.
And I mean, while we're talking about it, it looked good until it didn't.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's one of these,
and then it immediately like there was just a fallout to it, and you were just like, oh. Well, I was about to say that this looked good, and then you did that, and I'm like, well, no, I don't think this looks very good.
Especially all you had to do is take Jennifer Love Hewitt out, put Jamie Lee Curtis in there, and switch the killer with Mike Myers. It's like that's
what it is.
Word for word dialogue.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh,
that's exactly what it is, and you're just like, okay, all right. Have we figured out the lore of this, or like in terms of LORE lore of this? Anyway, Jaws is a great slasher movie. Because you see everything from the villain, the monster's perspective, and then just blood everywhere. But instead of it being like in a forest, or it only happens at night, or it happens in your dreams, this is just like broad fucking daylight. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you're having fun, you're enjoying your day. And you're just like, where the fuck did that come from? Mm-hmm. Get out of the water. Everybody get out of the water. This movie will still make you question whether you want to go swimming in the ocean.
Yeah, I still don't want
to this day.
Yeah.
I love sharks. I know I get it. I've sat through Shark Week for 37 years of my life now. There's been Shark Week going on, I think. Pretty much the entirety of my life there's been Shark Week. At the same time, this is terrifying, but like there's elements of this that I hadn't really considered. Like, I always forget just how close to shore they really get the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not just like by the end they floated kind of inward towards shore. The boat almost makes it.
Yes, it gets really close.
And I don't know whether it's Quinn being afraid, like genuinely afraid, and that's why he won't turn off the engine. Maybe that's it.
I got that vibe too. That it's actually fear driving him to
he
push
won't.
it.
That's why he's singing to himself.
Yeah.
It's not him trying to make himself feel courage. He is afraid.
Yep.
And everybody's like, you gotta cut the engines down. He's like, no, I will not die this way. And then he's gonna, well, I got bad news for you on that one, friend.
Yeah.
But like it's such a great character piece. All three of those characters are so fascinating in terms of like you meet Brody, and this is always the movie I think of when I think of Roy Scheider. Every time. I can't think of, like, I saw him in Marathon Man. I was like, Martin Brody.
See, it's weird to me. A movie that I don't necessarily love is the one I think of him, and that's 2010.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know why. I don't know if it's, I think it was one of the first, I mean, I had seen Jaws, but it's like one of the first Roy Scheider movies I remember.
Yeah.
Like, everything about.
Yeah.
So I just automatically put him in that.
Yeah, no. I still haven't seen 2001, so...
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been putting that off for a long time. I made it all the way through 2 film schools.
Yeah.
And every nerd being like, you gotta watch it, and me being like, have to. I've seen the special effects. Do I have to sit through the boring robot movie too? Because I've seen all the good parts. Do I have to sit through the whole thing?
You don't have to, you should.
Yes, this is the thing. This is always the thing. Is that it's always important to actually do it, which is why I don't say that I've seen movies unless I've seen most of them. Mm-hmm. Even if I've only seen a little bit, I'm like, well, I didn't actually really watch it.
Yeah.
Or, like, my favorite is, like, I've seen it in that I watched it on cable TV, so there were parts edited out.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the whole thing in one sitting. I came in, like, halfway through. So, like, because that was how I had watched 28 Days Later previously. It was, like, kind of, like, edited for television. Much better movie watched as God intended.
Yes.
Anyway, Jaws.
Yes.
That's the movie I'm supposed to be talking about.
Back to our tangent.
I'm trying so hard.
I know
the octopus is pulling me under.
This is a very tangent-heavy episode so far.
I love. This is the movie that makes me so sad. Richard Dreyfuss is the person he is now.
Yeah.
Because I love him in this movie so much. Matt Hooper is maybe one of my favorite characters in cinema. Character. He's so great. And every time I watch him, I see something new. where it's like when he gets to the island and he's just kind of looking around and he's like, these guys are gonna die. But just like the way that he is compelled, like he is terrified, and he shows his fear all the time of science, not just of the shark. I'm thinking of the autopsy scene where he's like sitting there and he's like shaking and he's asking for water and he's doing the whole autopsy and he is just terrified, in part because of what he's seeing in terms of the shark, but also just the whole of like the science of it all, the trauma of the science of seeing the dead body torn apart by nature, and knowing the science behind it, and seeing the science element of it as like, this is nature, this is biology, this is what this is what this is. And, you know, at the same time as he's terrified by it, he can't look away. It's the most fascinating thing in the world.
And then he's ballsy enough to get in the cage knowing...
Well, he goes out swimming without the cage. He's just like, oh, there's a boat. It looks like it had a shark attack. It's probably not around here, but it might be around here. I just said 5 minutes ago it's probably around here. Hit the lights. I want to go look. What the fuck are you talking? What are you... And so, like, he has these moments where he shows his fear, and he just gets over it.
Yeah.
He cannot stop himself from being drawn to the science, the mystery, the biology, the whole of everything that's happening. And he just can't walk away from it. To the point where once he sees, you know, what's going on with his own eyes, he calls Australia and he's like, why would I go there when I got one right here?
Yeah, exactly. And I got to give him credit. I mean, he had I wanted to double check the dates. He went right from this to Close Encounters, so he had a Spielberg 1-2 punch that was dynamite.
Yeah.
But,
no, I just love his character in this. Like the responses he has. I love this is gonna sound terrible, and I'm gonna put it in the best light I can. But I do love the male bonding aspect of them at night.
Oh yeah.
When they're comparing scars. And like how that all goes, where they're sitting around the table and you keep on Quint keeps giving these tests out to see if anybody's going to pass them. So they go to charter him as a, you know, captain, I guess. And he hands Brody this drink that he's made, my own batch. And Martin sniffs it and gives a sip, and he hands it to Hooper. He's like, don't drink that. And before Hooper addresses Shaw, he does the shot. And then he doesn't cough or anything. He kind of does one of those, Mr. Shaw, or, you know, Mr. Quint. And, like, he passes the test, sight unseen. And his relationship with Quint and how there's this give and take back and forth between the two of them of, like, Quint being like, you're not a real man. And him being like, what test do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I'll do it. You want me to tie a knot? Fine. This is stupid and childish. Let me tie this knot and show you. Oh, you don't have rough hands. Fuck you. What do you want me to do, man? I know what I need to know. And even if I've never experienced it in the way that you have, I'm not going to back down either.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great character.
Oh, absolutely.
That really holds the film together, because if it was just Brody being like, I'm in over my skis on this, it would not have this feeling of like, let's keep going. Instead, you have Hooper being like, no, we're going, because I'm going and I'm bringing you with me. And Brody's like, as long as he's there, I'm going. There were a bunch of trailers at the movie that we just watched to talk about. Specifically, I'm thinking of the Naked Gun, the new Naked Gun trailer, which shows like, the only thing I had to say about it was that it shows that it's like this action movie, which is why they have Liam Neeson as the lead in it, is because it's like the joke is that it's him from Taken, and well, it's fine.
It's unfortunately, I think this genre is a genre that's
dead.
from the 80s. Yeah, it's dead.
I was looking at it and I was like, you have Frankenstein this thing back to life.
Yeah.
I don't know if this kind of joke is gonna work anymore.
That's what I'm worried about. But you know, there are little sight gag things that made me snicker in this. Like when he's driving the car and somebody just hands him a cup of coffee as the car's driving.
Yeah.
That was funny. And like little things like that. But then I'm looking at it as a whole and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be strong enough to
support
rebooting this.
It's just like, it reminds me of like, first off, I think I'm glad Pam Anderson is in it. I think that's an interesting choice, but I also think that's a very direct choice. And it's not just like hey, Pam Anderson is having a resurgence. I think there's like a very real reason why they cast her in that movie. In the same way that there's a very real reason why they cast Liam Neeson in that movie. Yeah. But like, I just saw the shot of the guy watching them with infrared goggles, and it looks like she's giving him a blowjob.
Yes.
I'm just like, yep, that's what this whole movie is. Yeah. That's the entire movie.
You took Austin Powers' #1 gag and put it into Naked Gun.
And it's just like, that's what the entire movie is going to be, is double entendres. Yep. Things like that. They have a new poster out that's like, this poster wasn't made with AI. And his hand is all fucked up, and all, the gag is that it looks like it was made with AI. Maybe it even was made with AI. Who the fuck knows? But like, as a person who's never seen any of the Naked Gun movies in full, again, something I've seen parts of on cable, this doesn't make me want to catch up on old times and then see this in theaters.
Yeah, and that's the other problem is for people like me who not only grew up with the Naked Gun movies, but also watched Police Squad when it was an actual TV show. It's like, you didn't need to do it.
Yeah. There was the one joke I really liked. Like, I looked at it, I was like, that's a good joke. Was because they showed the O.J. Simpson joke again. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, nope, you showed it to us last time. Cool. The precinct being replaced with a Spirit Halloween. Yeah. That was great. That was the one bit where I was like, that's fucking funny.
That is fucking funny.
That's fucking great. But every other moment in that, I was just like, okay. Yeah. I think even you don't really have anything here.
And it's like, they got to understand, and it's the same problem they had with the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. It's not the character that you can't replace. It's the actor you can't replace. So you're trying to replace the iconic Frank Drebin with Liam Neeson. And it's like, you can't do it, man. That's why these... you tried to replace Freddy Krueger. It's like, but Freddy Krueger isn't what made it special. It's Robert Englund that made it special.
Yeah, there's other elements. Like, they brought in a great actor to replace him, whose name is escaping me. Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah.
And even then, like, you have this actor who's way better, and yet you're kind of like, well, this isn't really anything, is it? Yeah.
The
other movie, one of the other movies I wanted to talk about was the Austin Butler Zoe Kravitz movie that we saw the trailer for, called Caught Stealing.
The Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah. That looked really good.
Looks really good.
That looked really good.
And I'll be honest, not the biggest Austin Butler fan. I did like him Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it was very short.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's weird. It's like we're getting more of these atmospheric pseudo indie movies now.
Yeah.
Because we saw this one, and then there was the Coen Brother trailer.
Yeah.
The one that we already had talked about a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
With Chris Evans.
Honey Don't.
And it's like it seems like we're getting more of these movies, which is a good thing, as long as they don't become mainstream and then get overblown budgets and...
Yeah, exactly.
Because the feeling needs to be there, like this movie that we're going to be talking about 28 years later.
Yeah.
It felt like it didn't have a big budget.
Yeah.
It felt like an indie movie that didn't have a big budget.
I was going to say, it looked like, I mean this in a good, positive way, it looked like an off-brand Quentin Tarantino movie. It looked like a movie where they really wanted it to be a Quentin Tarantino movie without it being a Quentin Tarantino movie. Going back to how Pulp Fiction feels like it's from 1994 because it is. This felt like it was from 1994 because story beat elements. It helps to not be able to have phones, which is great. But also just like, I think it was part of the aesthetic that they were choosing for the film itself. And so, no, I was actually genuinely impressed. I saw this and I was like,
Yeah, and I hadn't heard this movie and the Stephen King one we saw.
That was
I
the
had
other
not
one.
even heard about those two movies.
No. I'd seen the trailer for this drop, but again, I saw similar to you. I don't really have anything for Austin Butler. I know people like him, but I also like cool.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. He's better than other off-brand white men like Jai Courtney or Jason Clarke.
Oh yeah.
But he has the danger of maybe falling into that gap if he doesn't have like a truly signature kind of feel to him.
I can see that.
But his signature feel to him seems to be becoming gritty crime movies that could also get your mom in the theater.
Yeah.
It's Elvis. Yeah. But I saw this and I was like, I kind of really love this. Yeah. This looks great. This looks like so much fun.
I am intrigued. And I love Zoe Kravitz. I think she's awesome.
Yeah. She's always good and everything. I think I actually did finish the version of what's the John Cusack movie where he's reviewing his exes?
Oh, High Fidelity?
High Fidelity. I think I finished her version of High Fidelity. I don't remember, which is kind of my full-on review of it. It was like, it was good. I don't know if I finished it. That's my review of her High Fidelity. But it was good. She was really good in it. And she was very charming in that role.
See, I won't watch it because you can't improve upon High Fidelity.
Yeah, it's
and
perfect.
To me, it's like that's blasphemy to remake it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It was one of those Hulu movies and shows that came out.
Yeah.
Where they were like, we're a streaming service. And then they got bought in part by a bunch of different corporations. And then Disney was like, you know what? We're just gonna take this. We're just gonna take this whole thing.
Tag, you're it.
Yeah. I did want to talk about The Walk. I think it was called The Walk.
It's like The Walk or The Long Walk or something like that.
That looks like classic Stephen King.
It does. It's like a Hunger Games-y Stephen King.
To the point where the guy who's directing it directed a bunch of Hunger Game movies.
Yeah. But like the guys in this movie going off the trailer volunteer.
Yeah. Well, like, so it seems really interesting because I can't tell the full context of it. But from what I'm seeing in the trailer, which it looks like it's a bunch of kids in the 50s who have an option to make a lot of money by doing this thing for the military. And it's a tradition that people are aware of and is a big deal. And so people know what they're getting involved in. But it's basically just like you start walking down this road, I'm guessing in Maine, and you keep walking until you run out of road. And the military is walking there with you or I guess riding there with you, kind of like a Tour de France brigade of cars. And if you slow down or stop for a certain amount of time, they kill you.
Yeah.
And it's whoever
3 seconds or something like that.
Whoever lasts the longest wins. And there were just so many elements of it that I found fascinating.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, it seems like it's set in, the 50s, 60s era America that you're used to with Stephen King. The aesthetic of it feels like Shawshank Redemption or any number of other really good Stephen King things that are like, The Shining is great, but it doesn't have the same aesthetic as other Stephen King things. This is like the good Stephen King. It reminds me of It 2017, where it's like, that shade, if you painted that shade in a room, it'd be like, oh, that's shade of Stephen King.
Yeah.
That shade is called Stephen King. And you're like, oh, yeah, it is. This is a lovely shade of Stephen King, isn't it? And I'm kind of looking forward to this. This also feels like The Mist to me.
And I'll be honest, the reason I think I really dig it, there are no big name actors.
No.
It's literally them walking down a road, so I don't see like a huge budget here.
No, it's literally they just have to keep going.
Yeah.
They don't get to stop for food or water.
Nope.
They just keep going and see who lasts the longest. So like one kid dies because he gets a cramp.
Oh, dude.
And it's just
that one was rough.
It's just like it reminds me a lot of The Mist, of just like
I can see that.
I kind of want to see what happens. I kind of want to see what happens when this goes down. So
that is, I thought so. So the major on the truck who's yelling at them and telling them, I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. It's Mark Hamill.
Really?
Mark Hamill's the general.
I didn't even notice.
Driving behind them. Like,
wow.
He has a lot of, like, I think he has a beard and they have, like, sunglasses on. But when I was listening to the voice, I'm like, God damn, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Fucking Mark Hamill.
Wow.
I know. That makes it even more. It's like, okay.
So the militarized Joker has taken these men and been like, where's Batman? We need Batman to come along and be like, you've taken these men. You're like, I'm going to pay whoever lasts the longest, and I'm going to make you walk for however long you can. It
would have to be Kevin Conroy's Batman. And
yeah. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
No, but those were the trailers I wanted to talk about. So I am looking forward to those. I'll say this to finish off. I was not expecting to go into the theater and actually see trailers that I hadn't seen.
Yep.
And B, that actually made me be like, oh, you know what? Oh, very good.
Because we rarely see those trailers.
Every time I go to it, so it doesn't help that I go mostly to the theater to see Disney and Marvel movies for the ones that I do want to go see, because I'm part of the problem, not part of the solution. So I end up going and seeing like trailers for other Disney Marvel projects, and you're just like, and how are you gonna fuck this one up? And so it was very nice to go to a movie,
not be bitter,
and not have like the biggest thing that I had to sit there and be like, and where's Nicole Kidman?
And there she was.
You gotta steal 30 seconds of my life to say something that you already said.
Ever and always, Al.
Forever and always, I will be like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.